last May. Pushing 50, I was determined to tell my first story outside of the shelter. The festival was held in Richmond at the Craneway Pavilion, a big, giant Ford assembly plant made out of brick. But the open mic, for the storytellers, was in a small tent on the outside at the main entrance. I looked up at the sound of applause coming from the upstairs main stage, and I thought, I'll make it to the big house one of these days. I'll make it to the main stage, or perchance, I'll make it to the National Storytelling Festival in Jonesboro, Tennessee. But today, in this tent, at this mic, in front of this audience, I'm going to tell my story if it's the last thing I do.
Yes.
It turns out, the MC picked my name out of the hat. I jumped up onto the stage and began to tell my first story, The Little Arsonist, which I premiered back here in May. David, what you doing tonight? But I'm bored. I have nothing to do and no one to play with. I jumped off the stage and started high-fiving the other storytellers. One by one, the MC picked names out of the hat and called storytellers to the stage. We jumped, leaped, and hopped onto the stage to tell our stories. Then we jumped, leaped, and hopped off the stage to applause. Finally, the MC picked one name out of the hat and read it. From his seat, an old storyteller of about 80 or so years old slowly unfolded his body to stand. And he began to shuffle across the grass, because this was a tent. He started shuffling across the grass to get to the edge of the stage. Now, the stage platform is about the height of this coffee table here, quite high. And he started to try to lift his leg, but he couldn't do it. And finally, he studied that platform there. Finally, he began to fold and collapse his body like a deflating hot air balloon. He folded his body until he was on all fours, and he began to crawl on to the stage. Now, I was in the front row watching this, and I thought, is this part of an act here? Maybe he's a raccoon or a cat. This is part of the storyline, right? And then it dawned on me, no, this is not part of the act. This man cannot raise his foot onto the stage. He cannot walk on the stage. He is crawling onto the stage. And the elder man began to crawl until he got to the microphone stand, and he slowly unfolded his body up, and he made it to the top. He said, he sighed with relief, and he began to smile, and he began to tell his story. Now, they say in entertainment that a bad entrance can ruin the whole performance. Now, such was the case with this the old storyteller. The way he enters the stage was so horrifying and shameful to everybody in the audience that we just watched with our mouths open, and we weren't even listening to what he was saying. We were just like, what the hell did I just watch there? So he finished his story to a moderate round of applause, and he started to walk towards the edge of the stage, and everybody's like recoiling back into the seats. Oh no, we're going to watch a catastrophe here. This man's going to fall off the stage here. So he started walking to the edge of the seat, and there was a storyteller sitting right next to me. He jumped up onto the stage and took the man by the arm just in the nick of time and supported his weight and helped him walk off the stage and escort him to his seat safely. Everybody in the tent just and I was just sitting there. This is my first time doing a storytelling event, and my very first time. And I was just thinking about that man, like, I wish that he had asked for help to get on the stage. I wish that the stage was accessible for people with mobility impairment. But I thought, oh, well, why did he do it? And it occurred to me, there's an antagonist here. There's an antagonist in my story, and his story, and your story. And that antagonist is death. Somewhere in the audience tonight, death is sitting, lurking, waiting for someone to tell his or her very last story. And I hope it is not me. Because I intend to tell a lot of stories before death drags me off the stage for the last time. And I know that old storyteller, he made the calculation. He made the calculation that I'm never going to be able to get back up here at the Storyteller Festival again. I came all the way this distance to the festival, and I'm never going to make it back here again. This is it. I'm going to get on the stage by any means necessary.
Yes, yes.
And as I thought about this, it occurred to me, I want to be just like him. Now, when it comes my time to tell my very last story, I'm going to get up on stage by any means necessary, even if I have to unbuckle my seatbelt to throw myself off my wheelchair to get on the stage. I'm going to get on the stage. But what would you do if you knew that this was the last story you would tell? And how would you tell it? What would you do to tell your last story? Thank you.
Yeah, right.